we're living in such an odd world where we're being made to live in a fucking mental asylum. Now this is just in Michigan, right? But I mean, Texas passed a similar law, and they sold it off of one thing. But the point is, again, to ban everything. Ban everything pornographic. It could affect anime, it could affect art, could affect expression. And at least in the Texas situation, it was all, again, they did the whole protect the kids argument, which, when that's said, it's not actually going to protect any kids. And because there's these things called parents, right? Like, this runs off the idea that the kids are the target, but it's like, if you have good parents, like, there is absolutely nothing that can get between you and the parent. I mean, and even with, things that do, like, let's take it, for example, the school system, right? I mean, you as the adult, as the individual sending your kids to school can protest that, right? This runs off this odd idea that, people are just trying to do evil. And to be fair, there are some that are. But, there are artists in the world that, they have to make a living, with their art, and it is a product that people buy. Anime is a product people pay money for. There is a demand and there is a market for it, but then you have state legislature that comes out of complete nowhere. Like, you don't even know this is happening until it just drops like a fat dookie in the toilet. No, we're banning this. So let's look over this, and I'll give my opinion. I typed it in the chat GPT, yes, because I typed it into the Bing, and it it's kind of like, if you want, caps, just type in the whole bill in the Bing. But ChatGPT puts it in a way that I can understand, minus all the fluff. Bill defines prohibited material to include almost all depictions of simulation, real, animated, AI generated, written, or auditory, of certain sexual acts, intercourse, masturbation, orgasmic erotica, for the purpose of sexual arousal. Okay. Intercourse, masturbation. Oh, okay, these are things that, okay, I get it. But erotica, that's something that tends to, like, these are active acts. But this is more of a description. Like, people can find, like, certain anime that, again, they dabble in sexual themes, but mostly for the sake of comedy. But for an American, they'll see that and be like, "Oh no, that's clearly erotica. Like, what does this mean?" Well, according to Melanie Mack, it's Luna being like doing the dance that shakes her ass, even though the character's fully clothed. According to her, that's erotica. That's perversion. That should be completely erased. Like, well, let's think of something else. Like, when you played World of Warcraft and you put slash dance on the Dark Elf and she did the dance, like, again, people can consider that. Again, that's such a loose term. I think it's loose, and it's for the purpose of sexual arousal. Who the fuck determines that other than some conservative judge in their late 50s that probably aren't getting any. Like it's so purposefully vague that it can attack other forms of the market. Just okay, whatever, man. I read and again, real animated. They are actually living in a mental asylum. Like I never thought I'd be in a position to defend porn, but here the fuck I am. So let's do this. This is what they sold the bill off of. But as you can see, this is like a single, thing. It also targeting trans slash gender expression. It also includes content depicting a disconnection between biological and gender. For example, someone biologically of one sex representing themselves as another by attire, cosmetic, prosthetics, etc. What was that one fucking movie? The Sixth Sense, where it had that orange-haired bitch, which waifu, by the way. But if you go further through it, it comes this black guy who's flamboyant and feminine as fuck, but he's portrayed as just this hot, enticing male. Like he would be gone. And again, yet again, it's being vague. And I get it. There's a reason for this thing to happen, right? But what I'm saying is, you're attacking the market. You're attacking artistic expression. You're attacking forms of entertainment that you have no reason to fuck with. But you're going to fuck with it, and you're going to make enemies of people that weren't your enemies to begin with, i.e., me. Because you're wanting people to live in this mental asylum. And people have gotten so used to, banning and censoring everything that now even the right's starting to do it. Right wingers. Like, people are so desensitized that they're like, well, sure, I guess we'll start doing it now. And it's like, I remember in like fucking 2015, or it was like, no, it was 2019, because I was in college, where I'm like, yeah, censorship is dumb. Every generation had to fight these censors, had to throw hands with these censors, and now our generation's gonna start doing it in video games, movie, TV shows, and comics. And, I thought we won whenever, Trump's in office and they're leaving my games the fuck alone. But now it seems the right's gonna start doing this, and you're gonna force me to be your enemy. Oh, and again, here them going after VPNs, right? Like, remember when Brazil started trying to do this? Remember when, like, in my opinion, YouTube was going to try to start doing this because, I think VPNs are a honeypot, but they help secure, and encrypt your online footprint, keeps you anonymous. As well as banner regular tools that allow bypassing content filters, VPNs, proxy servers, encrypted tunnels. These are explicitly called out as circumvention tools. Yeah. Because people will use these tools for this. If people don't agree with the bill, and again, at the end of the day, who the fuck's being harmed if Big Billy is looking at porn? Absolutely no one. But again, they're like, no, we know better. We know what you're going to try to do. We will come at you. And, oh yeah, here's the penalties. But obligations, ISPs, and platforms. Yeah, again, this is the shit that the UK's trying to do. But it has made its way to Michigan, to America, right? Like, I remember people were calling this bullshit. Artists, animators, hell, hentai artists were like, yeah, this is bullshit in the UK. It's fine if you stick the fuck over there if you're stupid shit, but don't try to reach across the internet and impose that shit on me, because then you're gonna make me mad. I'm saying the exact same thing. Lucy, what the fuck are you doing? Why you do this? Why you do this, Lucy? Why you do this, Lucy? Fat fuck. Stupid idiot. Oh! But now it's happening here in America because people are just so used to it. And not only that, it's what people want. They're like, yeah, we've been censored, so let's just start censoring again things that have absolutely nothing to do with it, like art, creative expression, video games, and you can have the justification, but I don't care, right? Requires internet service providers to implement filtering technology to block prohibited material. Like, again, they're imposing upon these companies, like, obviously it's going to be like Twitter, and Discord to do the censoring on their behalf. Platforms and websites must update their content policy terms to reflect these prohibitions. They must have content moderation tools, both automated AI scanning and human review, responsive to flagged content. Okay, this is obviously happening because, alright, let's think about this, right? If you're a politician and you invest into AI and into these tools, right, and you effectively force these ISP companies to effectively make these tools, AI tools, the monopoly through legislation. Like, it's in your interest as the politician to push these things. That's one of the reasons why I think this is happening. It's happening in Texas. It's happening in Michigan. That's one of the reasons I think this is going on. I mean, the other is, I get it, this is clearly a right-wing push, and I get it, people are, they've been scorned in the past, and they want to express that by using the exact same fucking tools here in the present to go after. Again, they sold it based off this, but this is literally just one paragraph and and this will affect so many other things that, because it's so nebulous. Oh, here's the penalties. For distributing prohibited material, felony charges up to 20 years in prison, or a fine up to 100,000. If more than 100 pieces are involved, increase up to 25 years, or 125,000. For what? Porn? So, if your child finds your porn magazine, you're effectively distributing it, and you can go to prison for that? Like, I mean, not once has this even said, like, underage or child porn. Like, well, I can understand that, right? They already have laws for that. Now, this is just the blanket coding on, no, everything. Sexual acts. Like, what? 20 years. Huh. Civil fines or commercial entities or ISP facilities access or violating their obligation. Again, obligation. They're imposing other, like, service providers and others. Well, it doesn't say social media, but they're going to the service providers, because what the UK did was try going for social media sites, because the UK can't go after fucking Spectrum, an American company, but Michigan's like, no, we will do this. And then this is all, I think, this is just the idea. I mean, I don't know if it's passed or not. I just looked at this and I'm like, this is ridiculous. fines up to 500,000 per violation for certain acts. Again, we're not talking child porn. We're not talking kiddie porn. We're not talking CP. Just basic bitch fucking erotica, right? Like fucking Playboy magazines will get you 20 fucking years. And it'll fuck your eye. Like, obviously, the ISPs are going to be forced to do this. It's in their interest. So, this is the state using the power of companies to go after porn. Something someone does in their fucking, that's shameful that they do in the confines of their own goddamn home. Prohibition or sale of circumvention materials. The bill will make it illegal to promote or sell tools, software, etc. that will let people bypass filters or block content. Okay, so like VPNs. Time frame if passed, the act will take effect 90 days after enactment. This is just ridiculous. Like, I think even if, regardless of your ideology, you think, okay, why are they trying to make us live with the padded cells and shit? He's concerned with criticism, free speech, First Amendment. I mean, I do consider expression to be speech, right? I mean, it might not specifically say, but yeah, artistic expression. And it's that way for a reason, right? I mean, you look at other countries and how they destroy, historic material, it's historic art because they don't like it. The censors of the past. And we've agreed that, yeah, that's bad. But for some reason, we now want to do this here in the present. The scope of what prohibited material is very broad and may include content beyond the court has historically permitted to be restricted. Some critics argue this would conflict with constitutional protections for speech, literature, and expression. Yeah. Like, even if it's the things you don't like, even if it's things you could consider, evil, I mean, it's still an expression. Because the bill bans content depicting certain gender expressions or what terms a disconnection between biologically and gender. This provision is being seen as targeting transgender people and queer expression. I mean, this is done because a lot of people that made like these phony books in the past wanted that talked about, the LGBTs before the ABCs. We're trying to push this shit into schools on kids, and a lot of teachers were trying to push it. Like, there's a very big apparatus of people trying to push these things, without the parents noticing, around the what the parents want. And I get this, they're trying, but, and I get why they're doing this, right? And this is how they sold it, but it's something that, like, fucking robot hentai, like alien hentai. Like, my boy, you're going to attack these things too. These aren't things I look at or enjoy, but I mean, people do. It is a product. People do pay money for it. Like, if you're going to affect the market, right? If you're going to attack art, attack, expression, like, you're going to make an enemy of me. The ban on VPN proxies and circumvention tools could hinder lawful privacy protection, secure communication, business use, and legitimate access by people traveling or who use VPNs for security. Critics say it's a dangerous predicament for government control of internet traffic. Yeah, I mean, you have the state using the power of companies against the citizens, which is the worst case scenario. In every situation it happens. Even if it's something that benefit you, like, is that a can of worms we want to open? I say no. Yeah, well, I'm going to be so bold to say, nah. ISPs and platforms would have to build or maintain strong content filtering, moderation infrastructure, possibly real-time review processes that costly, technically complex, potentially risky overblocking. Yeah, like if you're a massive ISP, like obviously you can do this, but if you're just some nobody, you're not going to have the ability to have this infrastructure. So this will protect the monopoly, it will protect Spectrum, AT&T, and Verizon, and Doofy's ISP is just going to go under because you can't afford this. And if you can't afford it, you know, you'll just get blasted. Some definitions are vague or expensive, erotic, ASMR, like the sounds of sex. What the fuck? Like, and again, if this was, I mean, there is a non-consent fetish in fiction. It doesn't exist that people actually like. But erotic ASMR, sensual voice content, any depictions of disconnection between biological and gender, which may lead to over-enforcement, chilling effect for speech, creative content, LGBTQ+ expression, etc. Like, again, people are just so used to censorship, and it's forcing me to defend things I usually wouldn't, because no, the only exception is for people that want to censor. Like, if you want to censor people, like, I think you should also be censored. Like, I consider it, you know, self-defense at that point. Like, you're coming after the thing that puts food on my table. So, yeah, I take great offense to that. I will defend that. This bill was introduced September 11, 2025. It has been referred to House Judiciary Committee. No further committee hearings scheduled yet. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just, again, yet another attempt to attack people's expression, to attack art for whatever reason. Just for, you have the type of people that, you know, are angry and they're like, okay, let's go after something that's completely inconsequential, right? And go after it. And it's like, why? Like, what the fuck do you hope to prove? You're just gonna make enemies out of people that initially just wouldn't care. Like, again, art that does these things, you know, to some it's evil, perversion, and all that, but to others it's a means to put food on the fucking table, doing something they like, adding a product to the market, taking a risk. But, I mean, I don't know what side most people fall on, but I will stick up for the risk taker, even if it is the fucking hentai artist, and say this is bad. There's absolutely no reason for this. And then my game ain't gonna have any of this. But I'm like, why? What are we doing? But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Peace. You want it.